Welcome everyone to Saturday Night Hype, and we have got 3 exhilarating matchups as we inch ever closer to the Midsommer Showdown on August 15th. I am the Sentinel, and we kick things off with Principal Skinner versus the Prince of Persia. Both of these men have had a very long road to get here, as we have not seen either of these men for several months. In the Principal Skinner's case, he has dealt with the end of the school year, obviously, scholastically. He's had to manage all the kids. You know, they were on a little bit of a break. It was right before they were coming back for the spring semester, so he had a little bit of time off to show up at the battalion brawl, but the last time we saw him was on the debut Battle City, back at the end of February, where he was unsuccessful in a first-round matchup that Mitsurugi won in the Millennium Championship Tournament that ultimately was won by Kratos, and he has made his way here after that. There was a big rummage sale that his mother participates in that she drags him to, that at her local, at the retirement home that he so wishes that she actually was at, but she goes to all the events, but she doesn't actually stay there. She still lives with Principal Skinner, but that is just the way that it goes. So he's been dealing with a lot and would love to get a lot off his chest and make some leaps and bounds here in CIW and potentially a victory here against a former Exceeds champion and a CIW original in the Prince of Persia, who has been missing since the April 4th episode of Saturday Night Hype, as he was one of the first to fall victim to the Majin. The Prince of Persia, as I mentioned, was one of the first to fall victim to the Nubu crew, as he was on the debut episode of Saturday Night Hype and lost to Majin King. And then Majin King and Prince of Persia ended up being the last two in a #1 contenders battle royal for the Exceeds Championship that Majin King ended up winning and ultimately won the championship from Ken Masters. But Prince of Persia wants to get back into that title picture and might just be able to do so with a win over Principal Skinner here tonight, as this is going to be one hell of a confrontation between these two individuals. As, you know, every match counts in CIW. You only get so much airtime, and here we go. And we'll see if Principal Skinner can beat the Exceeds champion. The betting is definitely against Principal Skinner here tonight, and a nice hip toss there from the Prince of Persia. And while Principal Skinner might be the elder, a little north of 60 years of age, Prince of Persia, definitely with years of EFED experience, was in the very first match, the original matchup with Symbiote Spiderman, had several feuds with Prince of Persia at WrestleBrations of yore, and now a big leg drop to the arm, trying to stop that Skinnerplex. And Skinner has that Skinnerplex that almost won him 2 falls against KRS-One back when he debuted at the Battalion Brawl. As, folks, we're going to see KRS-One in the matchup right after this, and now a chin lock, and Principal Skinner exploiting the referee's count, as we are happy to welcome to the pinstripe half of our officiating crew a rehire, John Goodman, here tonight, but in a much different capacity. John, I am so happy for you to be on this side of the officiating. You have more than earned it. You know, that has only been something that Jonah Hill has been able to achieve, and you have now achieved it. So good on you, John, and we thank you for being with us as our officiating crew. And folks, if he gets in the line of fire here tonight, as does happen with Colonial Impact Wrestling, you gotta like, share, subscribe, make a comment, choke slam into the turnbuckle, that bell button, to hashtag save a referee today. As folks, there's been smoke coming in from Canada all through this week, and it has definitely made its way here into the CIW locker room, as we have tried to get our weather guy to handle that, but unfortunately he has not had that much control over the matter. But that was where Abizzle was going to be on commentary here tonight, but I think that Rasad told him about the fires in Canada, and now AB's trying to put him out. And what a kitchen sink knee to the gut of Prince of Persia, cover from Skinner, could be over, and a near fall only. Principal Skinner trying to exploit that gut, knows that core strength is crucial to the Prince of Persia's major finishing maneuver, the Sands of Time. It's an amazing athletic maneuver. It's what won Prince of Persia the championship back in 2024. And he held that championship for quite a long time, did Persia. And now look at there, and a knife edge chop. Lost it to Ken Masters. And then Ken lost it to Majin King back at Massacre. And then, of course, the rematch of that happened at the Brawlbarbecue just a couple of weeks ago. But now Majin King looking for new contenders. And I'm sure that he's going to be watching these two here tonight. And folks, speaking of on the watch, the new Buu crew, Majin Buu has sent scouts to handle his competition. You know, as Majin Buu, the current CIW heavyweight champion, with the new Buu crew, Skinner up at the top rope here, going for a forearm, and I think he might have landed it right into the small of the back of Prince of Persia. But Majin Buu scouting his competition, or who he feels to be competition. And here tonight, we're getting a huge matchup that's exemplary of that. Majin Buu has sent Majin Shiva, the master of 1,116 gods, or the person who was before converted by Majin Buu, and taking on Bully MaGuire, the former CIW World's Champion, here tonight. And boy, what a main event that is going to be. And now forearms to the back of Prince of Persia as Principal Skinner is all over the former Exceeds champion. But the Prince of Persia trying to make a quick counter here, and does with a nice float over DDT, or at least a turnaround DDT. But Prince of Persia's gut has got to be hurting from all the punishment that Skinner has inflicted here tonight. And that Skinnerplex, he wants one Skinnerplex to do it, but what a jumping sidekick from the Prince of Persia. And now Majin Shiva, we saw that a Majin can be beaten a couple of weeks ago by the Millennium Champion Kratos having beaten Majin Riddick. And that was when Majin Buu at ringside. And you have to imagine the new Buu crew is going to be lurking or watching at the very least here tonight for our main event, Bully MaGuire and Majin Shiva. Prince of Persia is not looking good here tonight. But he wants that victory just as much as Principal Skinner does. Which one of these two men will kick off Saturday Night Hype with a definitive win? As we have later on, KRS-One is taking on Dave Chappelle. As now we have got a lot of matches heading up. Of course, we're looking for the number one contender for the Ladies Championship. We're going to figure that out. We've got a couple women's matches coming up to figure all that. We have the Raigeki Championship in full swing. Of course, the Raigeki Championship, part of our separate brand, the Maximilian Pegasus brand. And a DDT to Skinner again. And Persia starting to build up a little momentum here. But will his gut hang in for the long haul? And oh, and right there, just as I say that, he was building up that head of steam, but derailed just from the injury that has already taken place. And a couple of legs there to the side by Skinner, but a hip toss from Persia gets him right back into the mix. Of course, we need our number one contenders. We're going to determine all of that at the Midsommer Showdown, as that has often been our big summer blockbuster on August 15th. I said it before, as we're going to determine the number one contender for the Exceeds Championship at Autumn Asylum, the number one contender for the Ladies Championship at Autumn Asylum, a headlock by Persia, and the number one contender for Majin Buu CIW Championship. All at the Midsommer Showdown, but who will fill those spots has yet to be determined. And everybody is making their case here tonight for all of those championships. But who will be eligible, we'll find out. Oh, wait a second. And a counter there for Persia into the sands of time. And that might be enough to put Skinner away. It felt like one big move was going to close it, bringing him to the center of the ring. The cover from Persia. 1, 2, 3. As Prince of Persia takes down Prince Ipul Skinner. As these two are both of regal heritage of some description, but ultimately the wrestling experience factor of the Prince of Persia wins the day. And that makes him definitely one step closer to a championship he feels he should not have lost to Ken Masters. But will he be able to secure it? But we have a long road ahead there. But you have better believe that Midsommer Showdown might have a number one contenders match with his name on it. A big win from Principal Skinner, or at least from Prince of Persia on Principal Skinner. And now let's move on to match number 2, which has got a little bit more vengeance tied to it, as KRS-One is taking on Dave Chappelle with Eminem at ringside. Now, this all began a couple of weeks ago when KRS-One was supposed to have a dream match against Eminem in a one-on-one contest, and then Dave Chappelle, at least we thought, was on break. He was on tour. He couldn't make the date. We said that's fine. There's no worry. So Eminem was going to go it alone, and we were going to get the dream match unmarred by team affiliation. But we should have known it was too good to be true, as instead, KRS-One got assaulted by Dave Chappelle at ringside. He was a constant thorn in the side as Eminem inflicted multiple kill shots onto him, and that was the end of that. But the interesting fact of the matter here, and the other X factor in this, is KRS has had a little bit of time to heal, and is definitely going to be taking the fight, as we know it, to Dave Chappelle. But Eminem is going to be at ringside here for this matchup, and you have to wonder, in the wake of last week, where Strong Bad and Eminem had a hell of a matchup in the Raigeki Championship tournament that Strong Bad was the victor of, will that affect Eminem's involvement in this match? Will he be as 100% to get involved the way that Dave Chappelle did? And will that play into KRS-One's favor, as he is the master of the IMAMCRU12, the head professor, the headmaster of the College of Global Hip Hop Awareness, and my favorite rapper of all time. I mean, he stayed true to himself. He never got sold out or bought out by label influence. You know, he's not part of the big three that own all of music. And good on him. And here's Dave Chappelle, a man who, some might argue, was cut from the same cloth as KRS-One at a time. But it doesn't feel like that time anymore. It feels like they got Dave. And here's Eminem, a man who can easily just slaughter anyone in ring, at least on the microphone. You know, that's why we don't allow him to do guest spots here in CIW, because otherwise I would never get the microphone ever again. But in any event, he is here, and you can tell that he is maybe not at 100% by the hoodie he's wearing. He's kind of stilted coming into the ring. But we will see how well Dave Chappelle is able to handle KRS-One, both of these two veterans, masters of their craft. And, you know, perhaps in many ways this is an equal dream match, but what influence will Eminem have here tonight? Here we go, as KRS-One cannot be happy that once again he is going to have to contend with both men, but KRS knew that going in this week. You know, it's not like Dave Chappelle, who just surprisingly showed up as he thought, or at least we thought, he was on a prior commitment. But at least Eminem said he was going to be here this time, so I guess there's some redeeming quality in that. But it just makes me uneasy seeing Eminem here, as referee John Goodman's going to have to keep his wits about him, I'm sure, and probably stay away from the ropes. And folks, this is a good time to remind you of Colonial Impact Wrestling's rules about cornermen, that if the participants leave the ring, any cornerman is able to attack, but they cannot get in the ring for attacks, because that technically should be a disqualification, nor can they use a weapon on the outside. But let's say that Dave Chappelle throws KRS on the outside, or KRS leaves voluntarily, Eminem can attack KRS, as that is the way we roll. Same with the house rules of low blows being allowed in CIW. You know, then a perfect instance there with the inverted atomic drop. We allow them, but we don't like it. We would prefer them to play by the rules and to actually have honorable wrestling matches. But it is just so tragic how often that is not the case, with people who just prefer to do the low tactics, prefer to win with nefarious means, and a huge standing sidekick by Dave Chappelle. And it is wild to see. Oh, and here we go. Here we go. Eminem hanging up KRS-One on the ropes, but Dave Chappelle not really capitalizing on it that much. And a big backbreaker. As I mentioned, Abizzle was putting out fires in Canada. He was sent there by Rasad, and I guess for some reason they told them that was where we were having the show. And Abizzle actually drove out to the fires, and you know, good on him. He actually joined the firemen to help start putting out the fires. And while those are being put out, another is igniting here as Eminem again attacking KRS-One. And that is not right. And Dave Chappelle getting a cheap shot in, using Eminem's distraction and capitalizing full force. And I don't know, KRS-One being done some serious injustice here, man. And again, being choked up on the ropes. And that has definitely thrown KRS for a loop. And now, come on. And now a roll-up, but too close to the ropes. A schoolboy, in fact. And a knife-edge chop counter there by Dave. As everything that KRS-One is trying to do, Dave Chappelle is either countering or Eminem is interrupting. And KRS-One, you know, he doesn't deserve that, man. And now just right hands. Big right hands down, raining about 6 of them down. Very deliberate rights onto KRS. As Dave Chappelle, I would say a veteran here in CIW, but it is kind of jarring to see the actual Eminem and the actual Dave Chappelle here, because there were impersonators for, oh, now come on! John Goodman being hung up on the ropes, and now Eminem, come on, you're not allowed to do that! Get out of the ring, Eminem! You're not allowed to be in the ring, and the referee didn't see it! Springboard, and Dave Chappelle landed on everybody! Knocked Eminem, his own partner, but definitely hit KRS-One, and got a drop kick to the back of the skull. As this is getting brutal, man. And now a Fujiwara armbar. An impressive move there from Dave. And now it's 2-on-1. As John Goodman didn't see Eminem get into the ring and vault KRS out of the ring, as that would have been a disqualification had he seen it. And now an elbow to the face. And God, these two men, Dave Chappelle and Eminem, these two men have wreaked havoc on CIW. And now KRS trying to get a piece of Eminem, and oh, it gets a low blow for his trouble. Message sent. And now KRS, you know, he's trying to get back into this, but it's 1-on-2, and every time he tries to, he gets low blowed. This is not fair, man. At KRS, he's new to CIW, so it's not like he's got a ton of friends here. But clearly, the friendship or alliance, or whatever the hell you want to call it, of Dave Chappelle and Eminem prevailing here tonight against the man from New York City in KRS. And you'd think that Dave and KRS, you know, with that little bit of connection, but I guess Dave Chappelle's from Ohio now, you know, and so, you know, that whatever camaraderie they might have had at that point has been lost. And a drop kick down to KRS again. As, man, KRS, he's trying to get his footing here in CIW, but it's kind of hard to do that. You get paired into a dream match, maybe two, and neither of them have had just regular, just passive, integrity-laden matchups. But no, we've had to see what these two have done, and the fact that we had impersonators, the fake Slim Shady and the fake Dave Chappelle for so long in CIW, who never did this. They were admirable men. Yeah, they were shenanigans. They were goofballs. There's no doubt that they were goofballs, and they lost all the time, but at least they had some shred of integrity. But these men have shown none since they've shown up in CIW, and I honestly wish we had the fake guys back. I wish we had the guys that were a lot more jovial and trivial about this. Give me the Jack Pfeffer promotion guys over the Real Deal, because the Real Deal have proven themselves to be assholes here in CIW. But a nice rolling senton from Dave Chappelle, as KRS is not looking good. But what else was supposed to happen here? These two are circling the ring like vultures. John Goodman has been exploited every step of the way. And KRS is just trying to get his licks in, man. KRS going up to the top, trying anything, and a forearm down, and thankfully was able to recover quickly enough. But Eminem immediately with a Detroit press, slamming the skull down, shades of Luthez. But I don't even want to associate Luthez with these two assholes. Oh no, and now a kill shot on the outside. And I guess Eminem not hurting too much from that match with Strong Bad after all. But folks, speaking of the Raigeki Championship, next week is Battle City 10. Can you believe it, folks? The 10th episode of Battle City already. And oh, wait a minute, a miscommunication. A headlock takeover from Eminem onto Dave Chappelle. I think he was going after KRS, but not like it matters. These two have just completely dominated KRS-One here tonight. But folks, in celebration of 10 episodes of Battle City, and oh, what an elbow drop from Dave Chappelle. Maximilian Pegasus has informed us, and it's been voted on 5-1 in approval. Actually, it was a unanimous one. That vote was unanimous. That we are going to have 4 matches next week of the Raigeki Championship Tournament. 4 matches, top to bottom, the real deal. It's going to be a hell of a series of matchups, so stay tuned. 4 singles matches, advancing the quarterfinals along. You're not going to want to miss it. And what I want to miss is Eminem here in the ring. I would love to have John Goodman eject Eminem, and again, knocking him silly and stop it! Eminem, stop it! This is not rap god behavior. This is some Martha Mathers manure taking place here in CIW Saturday Night Hype here tonight, slamming his head into the ring post in a headlock takeover. As this has been just oppressive, as Eminem and Dave Chappelle have set out to just eradicate KRS from CIW, and I don't get the beef. Why do this? This could have been a magical thing. This could have been a historic event, and y'all have ruined it. Eminem tried to get into the ring, but John Goodman saw him that time. If he had attacked KRS in the ring, that would have been a disqualification, and John Goodman, you know, at some point, oh no, come on. A third time hanging him up and a big back body drop down to KRS-One. Man, just end this, Dave. Just end this. Although Dave Chappelle is looking a little hurt himself. And all KRS has done is just tried to kick out of all of this BS. I can't even tell you an offensive maneuver that KRS has had this entire night. This is the IMAM CRU-1-2. Not even close. Oh, here we go. And now the Chappelle lock. The Chappelle lock is locked in, and it's right by the ropes, but it's not enough to call for a rope break. And Eminem just taunting in the vicinity of KRS as he scorpions that 60-year-old man. This is wrong. This is wrong. Covered by Chappelle. 2-3. As Dave Chappelle beats KRS-One with significant help, significant assistance by Eminem. And my question is, do you two have no integrity? Have you been this captured? Have you been this eradicated by the industry that you've lost your souls? You're willing to do a Kevin Hart roast now, I bet. You guys you are industry plants, industry burgers, industry fries, industry lettuce and tomato. You are an industry McDouble, and I'm just so disappointed in y'all. Your winner, Dave Chappelle, as KRS-One gets screwed over from a dream match yet again. And and now we move on to this. It's Majin Shiva versus Bully MaGuire as Majin Buu scouts out his talent. And if I'm Bully MaGuire, I'm worried. I am downright worried for my chances here against Majin Shiva, because Majin Shiva, the former CIW champion, both of these men have credentials. But the man who won the CIW Heavyweight Championship in Majin Shiva, that was the original Shiva who won the CIW Championship. That was not Majin Shiva. As Majin Shiva lost to Majin Buu in the GW Climax tournament last year, and we didn't see him for basically 8 months until he showed back up to do Majin Buu's bidding at the WrestleBration earlier in February of this year that secured Majin Buu the Heavyweight Championship. And now scouting out his talent, potential threats to the gold, using the new Buu crew, who he controls. So whether Majin Buu is here tonight or not, he is certainly calling the shots here tonight, and he has certainly made his presence felt in that regard here in your main event. But what kind of damage can Majin Shiva inflict? Because we know what the Devil Oka has done, what it did to Kratos, who Shiva has, I believe, the victories over in a 2-to-1 capacity, as Majin Shiva basically owned and used the Lion's Head Jackhammer of Kratos to win the CIW title back at the end of 2023. As Majin Shiva now, I'd have to imagine if this were regular Shiva, that Shiva would be willing to be in a #1 contenders match against and win the title that he once held, but I don't think that's what is on Majin Shiva's agenda here tonight. But on the other side of the coin, Bully MaGuire needs this shot, wants this shot back after losing the CIW Heavyweight Championship match at Massacre to Majin Buu. You have to imagine that Bully MaGuire wants another shot. because he knows he can win this matchup. He knows he can beat Majin Buu should it come to it. But it was a difficult road ahead when they faced each other at Massacre, and a Bellini, a big-time Bellini that I thought was going to win him the championship, and then Majin Buu just chucked him halfway across the ring, hit the big chocolate planet buster, and secured the victory. But Majin Buu, Bully MaGuire must have earned Majin Buu's respect, because Majin Buu would not have sent Shiva to deal with Bully MaGuire if he didn't at least feel like, at the very least, at some point in that matchup, his championship was threatened. But can Bully MaGuire beat Majin Shiva is the question here tonight, or will he become another victim to the new Buu crew? And I shudder to think, and now a knife-edge chop, and down goes Bully MaGuire here in our main event of Saturday Night Hype! And now what a twisting Rana that we've seen from Shiva a number of times before. You have to imagine that Majin Buu gets at least a little stat buff for the Majin Babidi effect that Shiva has. And now just look at this, wrenching the head. And now I'm going to ask the intern actually to give me some nibbles here as CIW. I'm trying to get that approved by Rasad, and you know, Rasad has been just so tight on the budget. It has been oppressively tight on the budget. And to the point where he had CIW Counselor of Talent Relations Abizzle banned from the building over a 40-cent leaf suit. And Abizzle was supposed to be here tonight. And now, what a cruel irony then Rasad sends Abizzle to go fight forest fires after getting a suit full of leaves. This guy is a dick. And you know what? I was planning on sneaking Abizzle onto this program, but clearly he understood. And now look at this, a chicken wing, like a rear naked choke chicken wing, an impressive technical maneuver by Bully MaGuire. And you know Bully's gonna have to take every precaution in order to beat Shiva. La Maestro Cradle 1, 2, and only 2. As that would have been a surprise victory there over the Majin. As Bully MaGuire wants to hit that Bellini. And now a back twisting Rana, poison Rana cover, not even a 1 count, too close to the ropes, and went for a crossbody and got part of it. And now look at this, Majin, and now look at this, a leg whip into the corner, and thank you to my intern, I can't name him, but at least this one's gonna stay alive for at least one episode. Appreciate it, dude. As here you go, here's the tip. And now a counter there from Majin Shiva. And a big German countered by Bully MaGuire. And now a big atomic drop onto Shiva. And so far, Bully MaGuire has had the answers to the Majin. Oh, wait a second. Bully MaGuire. Oh, and a ring rope to the throat. Bully pulling out all the stops, not pulling punches here tonight, nor should he. And now a cover here from Bully MaGuire. Could be over 1, 2, and only 2. Majin Shiva kicks out. There's a tough hill to climb for Bully MaGuire. Oh, now a Tobe Atomico. He is starting to gain some significant momentum here against Majin Shiva. And oh no, come on! Why do I say things? Why do I say things? Because the second that I say things, people show up. People ruin my day. People ruin the experience. And now Majin King has made his presence felt. And referee John Goodman has got to get him out of the ring here. He ran in to cause some interference and run a distraction. And referee John Goodman, he's really got to get King out of the ring. As this isn't King of the ring, this is get Majin King the fuck out of here. Come on, man, this should not be a 1-on-2. Get King out of there. John, I know you just got back, but he's doing a half Boston Crab in the middle of the ring to Bully MaGuire. How is it that the new Buu crew keeps getting away with this bullshit officiating? Have they paid Jimmy Corderas off here? Does Jimmy even know this is happening? Yeah, I don't know, man. I've got more questions than answers. I'm not a happy halibut. That is certainly a fact here. And now, look at this, going for a figure 4. A smart figure 4 by Majin Shiva. As Shiva knows that Bully MaGuire has got that nasty, nasty Bellini that has won him the CIW Championship. As he beat the Prince of Persia to win that belt at the WrestleBration 10. Held it for well over a year until he lost it to Sagat at Doomsday back in 2025. And then Sagat's big reign of terror that we had, and Sagat is still on vacation. He's still on his honeymoon with his new wife. And they've taken a long honeymoon. He's got a lot of time off, but, you know, after losing the belt at the WrestleBration, you know, he really wanted to take time for himself, and I respect that. But we still have no timetable on the former CIW Heavyweight Champion Sagat's return to Colonial Impact Wrestling. But Bully MaGuire, boy, wouldn't it be something? Bully MaGuire would love to be CIW Champion when Sagat came back, because you have to imagine Sagat is going to want a CIW Heavyweight Championship match at some point or another down the line. But now that Figure 4 is starting to show its effect on Bully MaGuire, who is limping badly. And will that affect his ability to hit the Bellini and now a sunset flip counter into a drop kick? And Majin King just looming on the outside after interfering. Now the New Boo crew, I mean, they've made this a 2-on-1 effectively, but Bully's got to stay away from, I mean, we just saw it with Eminem and Dave Chappelle, and Bully's got to stay away from the corner and stay away from the ropes to wherever Majin King is, as well as staying away from outside of the ring where attacks are going to be most likely lethal. And the Exceeds champion, what a crossbody by Bully, as Majin King, the Exceeds champion, here tonight. As I'm sure that he was watching that matchup between Principal Skinner and Prince of Persia earlier. But little did I know he was actually in the ring, probably just scaling the catwalk. As there's a whole, I mean, our whole lighting crew uses that, and I hope that he didn't defecate or pee on any of the lights, because that's going to cost us, you know, that this place is not insured. You know, Corleone owns the place. You know, he's not getting insurance on his own place. You know, he's got his own people for that. So I'm hoping that Kitty King could keep his kitty bladder in check. But now another Figure 4 trying to get Bully MaGuire to tap out here, as he has just wrenched the legs, and of course that Devil Loca, as Majin Shiva is enjoying this. And it seems like every time that Bully MaGuire, he mounts some offense, but Shiva has been very slow and deliberate in this matchup, and it's actually uncharacteristic of Shiva, as a lot of times we say, oh, no, that's it. It's over. Devil Loca, we're done. Bully MaGuire, it's over. Majin Shiva hits the Devil Loca, and Bully MaGuire somehow, Bellini! How did Bellini do that? Bully MaGuire hits his #1 shot, but can he get the cover? And he took too much time. And Majin Shiva rakes the eyes. But Bully MaGuire, I mean, you saw him limping there. And I'm sure that Bellini probably hurt Bully MaGuire's legs. Here, Tommy Maguire, Symbiote, Spiderman in our main event. Frog splash, and he almost hit it. And I think Majin Shiva thought that there was more space there, and a reverse kick from Majin King. But it's not good regardless. And Bully got hit in the legs, of all places, with that frog splash. Probably the last place that Bully wanted to get in, but smartly evades Majin King, the Exceeds champion, who is here at ringside to help Majin Shiva here in this scouting match that Majin Buu has orchestrated against Bully MaGuire. And now Bully, top rope elbow drop, landed it. Can he hit another one here? And went for something. Might have been a heel kick of some description, but overshot it. But I also think that Bully might have been going for something out, and his legs gave, and a low blow message sent, as if Majin Shiva even needs to use dirty tactics, but chose to anyway. And now a sweeping DDT. As down goes Majin Shiva here in your main event of Saturday Night Hype. Which one of these two men will walk away from tonight with the win? Is Bully MaGuire, and what would it mean to beat Majin Shiva? I mean, the New Boo crew suffered their first loss at all when Kratos beat Majin Riddick. And now what a drop kick! But, you know, no disrespect to Riddick, he is a former 2-time tag team champion. But when it comes to big names in CIW, Majin Shiva made a debut right away, beat Kratos significantly easily. You know, and then ultimately lost that title to Kratos again, but in their rubber match did secure the victory. But now Majin Shiva is in a bad way here. And now here we go. Here we go. Majin King, just as Majin Shiva was starting to look hurt, and a forearm. And down goes Bully MaGuire. That has got to be it. I mean, this Bully MaGuire, I want to believe that Bully can overcome the odds. He is the most resilient man in CIW. He held that championship for over a year for a reason. He is a reason. He was the original, in the original matchup with the Prince of Persia, and was the original winner of that matchup. And Bully MaGuire, he is giving it everything he's got. His legs have got to be killing him after a myriad of figure 4 leg locks and being tripped up. He got a frog splash to the legs. His head has already taken a Devaloka kick, which has long-term lingering effects, as we know, and a low blow. And Bully MaGuire, I don't know, man. I know that he can uncork that Bellini at any given moment, but with the way that Shiva maximized on attacking the legs, I'm not sure that he'll be able to go for the cover in time, even if he does land it, in order to keep Shiva down for good. I mean, that's what the Majins are capable of. And a body slam there to Majin Shiva, but the way that they have this just recuperative ability, do the Majins and the Nubu crew, and a rake to the eyes right there. But Bully, you can tell that Bully has done some damage here, nonetheless. And Bully again, now a collar and elbow tie-up. Here and now another big body slam, and down goes Shiva. And Majin King just lurking, prowling on the outside of the ring, as Bully MaGuire has done his best to keep this in. But now Majin Shiva, I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe some sort of communication from Boo that he got. And oh god, and now what has Majin Shiva got planned? And a big Samoan drop. And down goes Bully MaGuire as Majin Shiva trying to close in on putting Bully MaGuire away. And you have to imagine, if Majin Shiva wins this match, that Bully MaGuire is going to be suffering the casualties of that for a very long time. Is when Majin, oh no, another Devaloka, and Bully MaGuire is busted open. And how? Bully MaGuire, the adrenaline must be flowing at a rate that the Symbiote is surging here tonight against Majin Shiva. Oh wait, small package. 1, 2, 3. I can't believe it. Bully MaGuire caught Shiva with it. Folks, I'm in shock. Bully MaGuire got a small package, and down went Shiva. And I can't believe it, Majin Shiva with 2 Devalokas. Bully MaGuire was bloodied. He was battered to a pulp, but the Symbiote surged and found a way to small package Shiva. The new Boo crew take another blow, and we'll see you next week. And wait a minute. That's Liu Kang's music. No, Bully, wait a minute, from behind. No. And now Liu Kang, fatality kick. You gotta be kidding me! Liu Kang with a fatality kick! Son of a buttermilk biscuity bitch! The Elder Goddess struck, still sore from having lost to Bully MaGuire at Equinox. Apparently, this man is the sorest loser in the history of professional wrestling, and he's made his mark here tonight. And folks, we're out of time, and I hate that this man is the last man standing for Saturday Night Hype. But isn't it so typical? This man has to strike from behind when a man is down. But we'll see you next week for Battle City. Take care, everybody.